8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end. I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
Well, I say go fuck yourself. Then ask a question, could I kill a man? I would enjoy myself. You can't disguise evil eyes that burn a hole in my head. This devil man and his master plan. We feel so misled, so I say, rise up, take all back. Rise up, take it all back. Rise up. Hope you all understand. We got to take it all back again.
These people are not going to take it any longer. We will never give up. We will never concede. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. But go home and go home in peace. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
Whoops, a little late on the button. I was like, oh, I can grab that real quick. Nope. What's up, everybody? How you doing, Gerald B? I hope Gerald B is in the chat. How you doing, Broken Patriot? It is Thursday, and I'm going to say it right at the beginning, and I'm probably going to say it later in the stream as well. I'm thinking about doing a after chat. I don't know if any of you are interested, but if you are, I'm thinking about doing an after chat on Discord. So I'll have my video on and I'll be live. You know, what we're going to be doing is we got a beautiful prime tomahawk steak. I never knew what a tomahawk steak was before, but this is a 2-inch thick tomahawk steak. And we're going to be grilling it tonight. We're not going to be sous videing it because my sous vide is broken. but I did get a great idea on how to fix it faster. Thank you, Irish. Less than reputable, but at the same time, screw it. I don't really care. So yeah, that's the plan. All right. Other than that, I did not change any of the opening. I was going to. I did not. I've been having a little bit of an issue with getting up super early to do the morning muster, but at the same time, I really want to. So I gotta adjust a few things. I'm not exactly. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm explaining. Right? I gotta adjust some stuff in order to make sure that I can do that and then not be ruined for the rest of the day. Being damn tired all night. So I need to go to bed earlier. That's what I need to do. But it is what it is. I had a great time this morning on the morning muster. Luckily, I made it because supposedly we had alarms set, but no alarm that I know of went off. What I think happened is Riddle Girl shut it off in her sleep, and I didn't wake up. Well, I might have woken up to that. Anyway, I woke up and it's like, oh, it's dark out, but it's kind of starting to get light. I wonder what time it is. I think I might have missed the morning muster, and luckily I did not. I got there just a couple minutes late. All right, that's pretty much everything. Oh, we worked out again today. That sucked. Yeah, it's gonna hopefully suck less eventually though. Hope all you doing really good and you're keeping in shape. Some of you doing this to lift, and some of you doing this to lift. I might be doing some of that my damn self too, but it's not the only way. Oh wow, shit! I did do this, but I deleted the page that I had started it on. Okay. Oops, that's not. No, don't nobody look at that. Don't nobody look at that. Uh, okay. And then this there. Nope, not that either. Wow, I'm just killing it right now. So that's my page. If you didn't know, that's the Discord. Go check it out. It's amazing. Um. Okay. Let me try that again. There we go. We got it. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Amy Coney Barrett rejects Indiana University students' bid to block vax mandate. So this is all. Most of the stories are about the mandate that may or may not happen. Yeah, that was impressive, Riddle. Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett on Thursday refused to block a plan by Indiana University to require students and employees to get the jab against the sniffles. Barrett's action came in response to emergency requests from 8 students, and it marked the first time the High Court has weighed in on a sniffle mandate. Some corporations, states, and cities have adopted sniffle requirements for workers even to dine indoors, and others are considering doing so. You better. I don't know. I live in Arizona. We don't have this issue. I am kind of curious, Gerald B, living in Maine. How is that going for you? Have you noticed anything happening in your state? And anybody else watching that hasn't weighed in, do you guys have this kind of stuff where you're at? Have you noticed it at all where they're like, well, you have to show a passport in order to get into the restaurant or anywhere? I mean, I guess if you fly, I don't even know if you have to fly. I don't fly, so I don't know. The students said in court papers that they have a constitutional right to bodily integrity, autonomy, autonomy, and of medical treatment choice in the context of a sniffle mandate. They wanted the High Court to issue an order barring the university from enforcing the mandate. 7 of the students qualify for a religious exemption. College of wait a minute. Amy Coney Barrett on Thursday refused to block a plan by Indiana University to require students and employees to get the shot. Oh, here I thought she did something good. This is another Trump-appointed person who's supposed to be constitutionalist, who is not going to block the the campus or the university to require students and employees to get the shot. That's kind of messed up. Huh. College officials across the country have struggled with their required shots, with some schools mandating them and others questioning whether they have the legal authority to do so. Similar lawsuits against student shot requirements have been filed in other states. Well, we're going to start testing out the legality here pretty soon because I would imagine we're going to have some students suing colleges and then they'll go to the courts. And most likely, a lot of courts will side with these schools, I'm sure. Book the jab? I was so mad when I read that. Read what? Even the nurse. Oh, you guys been blowing me up. Hold up. Nope, not in Ohio at all. That's good. Even nurses have an option to get it or not. Nice, nice. How about India? How about where you're at, Irish? Gerald's in Maine. I just hope Amy Comey Barrett was going to be a good person. Yeah, apparently not. Well, we don't want anybody to think about packing the court, I guess, right? That's what we're going with, maybe. The court's newest justice rejected the plea without even asking the university for a response or getting her colleagues to weigh in. Justices often act on their own in such situations when the legal question isn't particularly close. Barrett handles emergency matters from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit, which includes Indiana. The three-judge federal appeals court panel, including two judges appointed by former President Trump, was one of the two lower courts to side with Indiana University and allow it to require the sniffle shots, even as legal proceedings continue. The plan announced in May requires roughly 90,000 students and 40,000 employees on 7 campuses to receive the sniffle shot for the fall semester. Students who don't comply will have their registration canceled, and workers who don't will lose their jobs. The policy does have religious and medical exemptions, but exempt students must be tested twice a week. Twice a week for the disease. Have you ever had it? I know Broken Patriots had it. I've had it. Riddle's had it. Who else here has gotten the test where they shove that thing up your nose for the sniffles? Can you imagine doing that twice a week? The school recently announced that for now, everyone, regardless of sniffle shot status, must wear a mask indoors while on campus. Wow. Oh, Tactical Shit did that one, huh? Huh. I'm curious. I'm going to look for something here real quick. The hospitals are requiring all healthcare workers and other staff getting the shot along with nursing home workers. Yeah, I'm not good with that. I had that test done twice. Yeah, same. I've had it twice. I believe twice. Riddle's going to have it again here pretty soon. Sucks. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Maybe. Huh. All right. Well, I can't find what I was hoping to find. Um, I used to use tacticalshit.com for a couple news articles here and there. It's usually pretty short. It's pretty, opinion based. But we have a story here. It's not really a story. This is the Mexico border. You can see it say Mexico right here. This was given to me by Irish USMC vet this morning. I kind of wish I had I have more of the story here. I don't have anything but the video. And right here, shootout on the U.S.-Mexican border near Navarro, Laredo. Who knows this is happening? Let's go ahead and copy this. Maybe I can find an actual story on it. Nope. Ooh, maybe here? When was this? April 1st? No, that's not it either. So I don't know when this was. I have no idea. This could have been April 1st, 2020 for all I know. 2 hours ago. So, I mean, this was posted probably today. But it shows the U.S. Mexico border and gunfire going on. And supposedly it's a shootout between Border Patrol and cartel, I think. News says it's been happening regularly since around January 2021. The specific incident I can't find unless it was July 3rd, 2021. So this person's having a hard time finding it too. I wonder if that's the new cartel that had photos everywhere on the internet of their military equipment and new gear. Definitely sounds like a lot of activity. Should be interesting to see if any of that makes its way to the Arizona border. Because it was an everyday occurrence. Sleepy Joe and Hooker Harris, I like that one, thinks what happens on the border will just clear up if they ignore it. First I'm hearing mostly peaceful shootout. I like that one. Nothing to see here. Shootout at the port of entry in Laredo, Texas, the bridge that connects the U.S. to Mexico. All right, so we're going to watch this. There's somebody running.
They're moving in here, soldiers.
I didn't know if you guys wanted to see this or not, but what's up, Bikes? How you doing?
It's moving more back towards the back now.
Screw my freedom. Never test.
Stay behind cover, fucker.
Cool.
Did you hear the alarms?
Well, you're lucky that you haven't had to do the test yet. And if you did have it before they announced it to the world, let's say I don't know. I mean, the only way that you could technically know, right, is if you got tested and showed the antibodies, I guess. I don't know how all this works. But a lot of places, if you have to go and get a medical procedure done, which is why I had to get the test done twice and why Riddle's going to have to get it done again. By the way, that reminds me, next Wednesday, right, Riddle? Next Wednesday, there will not be an evening catch up next Wednesday. That reminds me. Never been sick again with it, and don't wear a mask, and don't or be extra cautious. I even have kids in school. Guess natural immunity, being in shape, and taking vitamins work. Who would have thought it? Here's my thing, right? We had a really bad flu in December of 2017. I believe it was 2017. Really, really bad flu. The whole family got it. Thought I was gonna die. Took like 2 weeks to go away. And it was bad. We actually had to go to the hospital. Well, yeah, I guess the clinic, right? And we're trying to get anything that would help because it was just that miserable. Thought I was gonna die. And I got by it. I have not been wearing mask most of the time. Maybe you should. That's something you have to consider for yourself. Don't take medical advice from me. But I'm not doing anything that I haven't done before. I'm not taking any precautions at all. And as far as I'm aware, I have not gotten sick. Unless I'm asymptomatic, I have not got sick ever from this in the last year. I've had allergies, which, go away as soon as I take an allergy pill. Well, the state says that they can require it because they are privately owned. And if you don't want to the shot, look for a new line of work, is how they're putting it. I'm going to start looking for a new state, is what I would be doing personally. I mean, if they start doing that shit here, I'm gone. I'm gone anyway, but I'm gone. That was this morning, was it? Maybe. Let me refresh it. I don't want to. Yeah, screw it. I'm not doing it. All right. Up immunization exemption guidelines for Army. It tells you that the government's legal way to say no to the shot and to be able to sue if they violate you. All right. I'm copying. I'll paste and I'll look at that later. They tested me before my ankle got pinned and screwed, and I asked the nurse if it was an anal swab test. I heard it was better. Of course he did. By the way, Sniffle positive means you have any common sniffle 19, or the flu, all show positive for. Oh, I did not know that. You can look that up. Doctora says it's long ago. Long test needs done test. For an exact type of sniffle, and it takes over a month. Y'all gonna just type it out like that, anonymous American, just like verbatim? For your freedom, just get the shot and wear your mask. Lord, helmet commands you. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, it would be a great running mate. Biden flirts with strong arm tactics on vax mandates, but fears a backlash. You think? You think there might be a little bit of a backlash, just a small amount. In just the past 2 weeks, President Joe Biden has forced millions of federal workers to attest that to their sniffle status or face onerous new requirements. He met with business leaders at the White House to press them to do the same. Meanwhile, the administration has taken steps towards mandating shots for people traveling into the U.S. from overseas. Wow. And the White House is weighing options to be more assertive at the state and local level, including potential support for school districts imposing rules to prevent the spread of the sniffles over the obligation of Republican leaders. Yes, so we do know that there's a couple states who are saying we're going to make it illegal for mask mandates even in school, and if you do that, we're going to take your money away from you. And Joe Biden's like, "Well, we'll go ahead and give you free money for disobeying your governor." To the mayors, school superintendents, educators, local leaders who are standing up to the governor's politicizing mask protection for our kids, thank you, Biden said Thursday. Thank God we have heroes like you. I stand with you all, and America should as well. This sharper federal approach comes as nearly 90 million eligible Americans still have not been sniffle shotted. But even as Biden becomes more aggressive, he has hesitated in any attempt to force Americans to get the jab. According to a recent poll from the Kaiser Family Foundation, only 51% of Americans say the federal government should recommend that employers require their workers to get the shot. That's a lot. 51%? 51% of Americans say that the federal government should require that employers require workers to get the shot. Wow. But isn't it like 51% that don't have all their shots? The result is precarious balancing act as Biden works to make life more uncomfortable for the unshotted without spurring a backlash in a deeply polarized country that would only undermine his public health goals. Nonetheless, many argue that his divisive and oftentimes insulting rhetoric has further entrenched those inclined towards sniffle shot hesitancy, along with inconsistent guidelines and public displays of hypocrisy from figures like Biden, former boss Barack Obama, who held a super spreader event last week at Martha's Vineyard to celebrate his 60th birthday, nobody wearing a mask. Biden's insistence on forcing the issue may ultimately have hurt the stated objective. Perhaps the biggest indicator of all is that the White House regarded the pandemic surge in a non-serious way was its open borders policy, with an estimated 10 to 20% of illegals crossing the border with the sniffles before fanning out into the country's interior, courtesy of taxpayer subsidized transportation. Nonetheless, Biden officials continue to pay lip service to sniffle mandates in hopes that the right combination of words strung together might win the hearts and the minds of the skeptics. Sniffle shot mandates are the right lever at the right time, said Ben Wakana, the Deputy Director of Strategic Communications Engagement for the White House sniffle response. Y'all blowing me up. I love it. The state itself insists doing this. They are asking the big employers to do it. Yeah. Here's the thing. Here is the thing that is illegal. That is against the First Amendment. Or whatever amendment is to not get. You can't regulate a company to do something you can't do yourself. I guess you can ask, but look at the whole freedom of speech, right? You can't say what you want on YouTube. You can't say what you want on Twitter. You're going to get demonetized or removed or both. and never be able to be on the platform again. They were removing Rand Paul, a sitting senator, can't even speak his mind on the matter, and he's a fucking doctor. But it's not against free speech because it's a private company that was told by their government to regulate the speech because the government couldn't do it. You understand? So now they can't order people to get the jab as government. So they're going to go after your employers, after the movie theaters, after the restaurants, after all these people, and they're going to put pressure on them. Hey, you need to play ball, all right? You don't want to get a lawsuit on you, do you? You need to play ball and mandate those mandates. Mandate the mandates. I'm gonna make a shirt. Mandate the mandates. Seeing you were live, just checking in to say hello and good evening. Oh, all right, Bikes. Thank you. I go live pretty much every day at the same time. I'm back at it. Have a great chat. Thank you. By the way, I've got actively censored on your last live stream I went to. Refresh chat after you didn't respond. 3 messages disappear, not comment held or deleted. Just never made it to you. I remember you saying that this morning on the Morning Mustard. Has that happened on mine too? One hospital said 80% of its employees have had the shot, still have 20% holdout. And if they lose that many people, would close them pretty much down. Maybe. Services will make call on religious exemptions to sniffle shots. In a memorandum released yesterday, the Secretary of Defense explained how he will ensure the continued health and safety of the U.S. military through the use of available sniffle shots. I will seek the President's approval to make the sniffle shots mandatory no later than mid-September or immediately upon the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's licensure, whichever comes first, said Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. Right now, there are 3 sniffle shots available, all currently being used across the United States under Emergency Use Authorization, or UA, from the FDA. Those sniffle shots include one from Pfizer and Moderna, both of which require 2 injections. The Johnson & Johnson sniffle shot requires only 1. If there are 3 sniffle shots receive full licensure by the FDA before mid-September, Austin say they will become mandatory immediately. What? Who is Austin? Who's Austin? Did they say who Austin was? Did I miss it? Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense. Okay. U.S. Food and Drug Administration, whatever comes first, said Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. All are currently being, those sniffle shots include one from there and there. The Johnson, yada, yada. And if any of the 3 sniffle shots receive full licensure by the FDA before mid-September, Austin said they will become mandatory immediately. Is that for the services? If they do not receive the licensure by mid-September, however, the Secretary will request a waiver from the President to make them mandatory. For service members who have religious objections to receiving the shot, no, it's for the services. They're talking about it for the services, apparently. For service members who have religious objections to receiving it, the path for how they might seek an exemption to it is defined by their individual military service regulations. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby said during a meeting with the media on Tuesday, there's a religious exemption possibly for any mandatory sniffle shot. And there's a process we go through to counsel the individual, both from medical and command perspective, about religious exemption. Yeah, this is all about military stuff. So apparently they might be mandatory in a service. I don't even know, but apparently they're not mandatory all across the board yet. And if they lose, does that make, okay. The PhD part got me. No. People with PhD, number 1, inner city blacks and Indians, Native Americans. Top groups to say no to the shot. People with a PhD. That's hilarious. Inner city blacks, I'm surprised, but I guess it's the white man. And Indians. Well, they've fallen for that too many times. Not this time. That's sus as hell. The most educated people in their fields are they're in mass saying no. I expect inner city, as they hate being pushed around and hate authority. Indians just got The gas? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Scan your barcode. San Fran mandates sniffle proof to enter businesses. San Francisco will require proof of full sniffle shots against Sniffles 19 for a number of indoor activities such as visiting restaurants, bars, and gyms. Mayor London Breed announced Thursday. I'm really hoping Larry Elder wins the governorship. That'd be hilarious. Many San Francisco businesses are already leading the way by requiring proof of sniffle shots for their customers because they care about the health of their employees, their customers, and this city, Breed said in a statement. Well, unfortunately, even if you get the sniffle shot, you can still technically maybe get it because I think I've heard reports of that happening a few times. Possibly. The mandate will be more stringent than requirement announced by New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio last week. San Francisco will require proof of full sniffle shots for all customers and staff, while New York mandated proof of at least one of the shots for indoor activities. It will take effect next Friday. In addition to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention paper cards people get when they have gotten the shot, California has established an online record with a barcode sniffle people can use to prove their status. It's going on your phone. Los Angeles is considering a similar move, requiring people to have at least had one dose of the sniffle shot before going indoor restaurants, bars, gyms, movie theaters, and other venues. Crazy. City leaders there voted Wednesday to direct city attorneys to work out the details. The announcement comes a day after Governor Gavin Newsom said all employees at public and private schools in California will have to show proof of sniffle shots or face weekly testing. Once again, this whole weekly bullshit. At least it's not twice a week, but it's still bullshit. Breed was expected to announce the mandate Thursday at an historic Vesvivio Cafe in North Beach, a favorite haunt of the Beat Poets. Cafe has already been asking indoor diners to show proof of their sniffle status. I guess I'm not going to San Fran. I've been there once, and I was there as a kid back in the 90s or late 80s. I think it was 80s, late 80s. Absolutely loved it. Really would have loved to go back. If I could go back to the San Francisco at that time, I would totally do that. I don't want to step foot in that state, let alone that city now. Still gets me mad every time I see a person inside of a car by themselves wearing one. At least we have an easy way to identify the folk. Yeah, pretty much. Top WHO official breaks with the narrative Wuhan as the source of the sniffles is probable. I thought we had already established this, but I guess the World Health Organization hadn't gotten fully on board until right the fuck now. One of the leading World Health Organization officials admitted this week that its report on the origins of the sniffles did not seriously address the theory that the sniffles escaped from a Wuhan lab because China demanded that the WHO exclude it. So I guess the WHO is controlled by China. Peter Embark, who spearheaded the joint commission that the WHO sent to China, acknowledged that in an interview with a Danish news network, translated by Summit News Source, that the lab leak theory is much more likely than the WHO's original report suggested. An employee who was infected in the field by taking samples falls under one of the probable hypotheses, he said. The WHO's investigation rather asserted that the lab leak theory was extremely unlikely, while a natural origin theory was much more likely, until it wasn't. Embark explained that WHO investigators only dismissed the lab leak theory because Chinese officials demanded that they do so. Yeah, so the WHO works for China. In the beginning, they didn't want anything about the lab in the report because it was impossible, so there was no need to waste time on that, he said. We insisted on including it because it was part of the whole issue about where the sniffles originated. The discussion of whether to include the lab leak theory, at least until 48 hours before the investigation was supposed to conclude, Embark said. Eventually, Embark's Chinese counterpart agreed to discuss the lab leak theory in a report on the condition we didn't recommend any specific studies to further that hypothesis, he said. When asked why the Chinese government resisted the WHO's efforts to discuss the lab leak theory, he said Chinese political system does not allow authorities to acknowledge human error. This sounds like Chernobyl. It probably means there's a human error behind such an event, and they're not very happy to admit that, he said. The whole system, master race. That's a master race. The whole system focuses a lot on being infallible, and everything must be perfect. Somebody could also wish to hide something. Who knows? Mounting speculation in the U.S. now centers on the possibility that the Chinese lab, with support from U.S. agencies, was conducting controversial gain of function research that involved mutating organic viruses into deadly and more contagious strains. Such research may be used to develop sniffle shots preemptively before a pandemic hits, but also to pursue biological weapons. Yeah, I don't know. Chinese government, the United States government, all these governments that are doing gain of function service, you really think that they're doing it to combat future pandemics? I don't think so. Just my opinion. Those people only try to control you because they feel a lack of control in their own lives. Yeah, that's a big fact. They don't have anything to believe in. They need to have control. They don't have control. They don't have anything to look up to, right? Probably, I don't know. There are probably some believers out there, or at least self-proclaimed believers out there, but at the same time, they don't want to go to church because they're worried about dying. And I ask these people, and I've asked them before, don't you think your future life, your next life is more important than the one here on earth? What do you think Jesus would be doing? Do you think he would be social distancing and wearing his mask and getting the sniffle shots and telling you all that you should trust the government in order to get it? Or would he say, "Believe in me and I will give you everlasting life?" Right? Boy, that blows their fucking brains out. All right. Biden's 2024 reelection plan starts to worry the DNC. I can't believe they're already he's been what, 7 months in? 8 months, I guess, technically. Well, yeah, 7 full months in, and they're already talking about reelection. The aggressive overreach of the Biden administration is no longer just a problem from concerned citizens. Even the leadership of President Joe Biden's own party is starting to feel crowded out. Insiders at the Democratic National Committee said the level of input from their White House counterparts have been excessive when it comes to coordinating Biden's 2024 reelection plans. People are super frustrated in the trenches around what's happening with the DNC and the White House control of it, an anonymous DNC source told The Hill. The White House is not thinking about how to build the electorate writ large, but they're concentrating on a few states, the source continued. It's all about the presidential reelect. Maybe that's why they're going after the states that are trying to overhaul their election stuff. Biden's mental facilities are already revealing signs of serious can't even say the damn word, deterioration, which has left many skeptical that the 78-year-old president will finish his current term, let alone the next one. Footage this week appeared to show him wandering aimlessly around the White House hedges following an event. Okay, I gotta watch this.
Yeah. Yeah, after the vote. Yeah.
So was he supposed to turn right there? I guess he was. Okay, so he took a little scenic route. Was that the whole thing? That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right. Moreover, growing public discontent over policy failures, including inflation, open borders, rising crime rates, critical race theory, a pandemic era attack on civil liberties, diminished global standing, and ethical issues surrounding the Biden family all threaten to take a devastating toll that will undermine the Democrats' campaign messaging. The National Pulse reported recently that 51% of Americans, why is it always 51%? have a negative outlook about the president and the future direction of the economy, the highest level pessimism since 2015. This torrent of weak numbers reveals the hobbled politician and one without the kind of hyper loyal base his predecessor enjoyed, the Pulse noted. Yeah, nobody's excited about Biden. Even Biden's own family that voted for him wasn't excited about Biden. I reckon you're saying hello to somebody. Oh, what's up, Zudak? How you doing? Thought he said he wasn't going to run for a second term. I don't know what he's doing now. I reckon so as long as he can breathe and read a teleprompter, they'll try to keep using the puppet. Well, they can't do Harris. Harris is already fallen out of favor with the press. Remember when she first, when they first took office, they were fawning over her all the time, supposedly. They're not doing that anymore, and it's 7 months in. Can you imagine this time next year when we're getting closer to the midterms? Animatronic Biden? Yeah. I think he's got a virus if he's a robot. Isn't that what that would be? With Biden's approval ratings plummeting, the Vice President Kamala Harris likewise facing historic low popularity numbers, Republicans have already set their sights on everything from retaking Congress in the 22 midterm election to reclaiming California in a special gubernatorial recall. Yep. Yet echoing Biden's own claim in March that he would run again. Sorry. Echoing Biden's own claim in March that he would run again, DNC insiders. Oh, okay. So he said in March that he was going to run again. DNC insiders confirmed that he is clearly posturing to do so, and now risks dragging down the party that artificially bolstered him to the Oval Office as a desperate last resort in 2020. So they're going to have to convince him not to do it, most likely. He's going to want to, and they don't want him to because they want to have somebody strong go up against him. Can you imagine if Trump did actually technically decide to run again in 2024? I think it'd be over for him. I mean, depending on how much they can get dominion in every voting system that we have. Harris also walked in front of Biden, which is no big deal. No. Yeah, echoing Biden's own. Oh, wait, I read that part. Democrats complain that they are stuck in a holding pattern, unable to cultivate openly at least any viable alternatives to what could potentially be a geriatric rematch between Biden and former President Trump. Trump, who is roughly 4 years younger than Biden, has yet to show the same signs of physical and mental decline. DNC sources largely blame their dilemma on that was a Freudian on overbearing presence of the top Biden advisor Steve Ricchetti, who they describe as pivotal politically. He said, "Nothing moves without Ricchetti's sign off." Okay, I'm done with this story. Biden running again in 2024. Riddle most end up broken, scrapping by with physical and mental injuries that aren't getting fixed fast. Those who get out and do good, they become problems. So they try to keep you in the system. Oh, I have not heard that theory about vets. Are we talking about vets who get injured? You would think that the government would treat active duty and vets the best because they are basically walking, talking weapons and terminators. Most end up broken, scraping by with physical and mental injuries that aren't getting fixed fast. Those who get out and do good, they become problems, so that they try to keep you in the system. It's easy. It's more profitable to treat the condition than it is to cure it. That's why we still have cancer. Look, as you all know, all my regulars, I have PH, pulmonary hypertension. It's a very rare disease, and there's only one organization that I know of looking for a cure. How many cancer organizations are looking for a cure? And for how long? And we still haven't found it? Maybe because some of the things that we ingest are giving us this cancer. I think it's just my personal opinion. I think the way we live, what we eat, the lack of exercise, stuff like that is help. Not to mention, and that's just eating wrong. Not to mention the shit that they're putting into us all the damn time. Oh, take this flu shot, take that sniffle shot. Oh, you won't get cancer 20 years from now. And if you do, they're not gonna say it was them. Oh, I don't know how that happened. Pretty much. I haven't worn a mask. I mean, I've worn masks here and there, in order to get into the hospital that I needed to go into to have a procedure I needed to have done. I don't do it on a daily. If I don't have to, I don't. Unless I'm going to a public event where there's going to be a lot of crazy people there. But I haven't had any issues with it, knock on wood. Hopefully I won't, but it's one of those things I'm a little worried about. But at the same time, I'm not going to live my life like that. You know what I mean? That's true. Sad but true. I struggled with PTSD horribly for 8 years before the VA gave me proper treatment that helped. I went over 100 times for help on the record before I got help. Damn. You know what? Maybe that's a group that somebody should start. Somebody should start. I'm surprised that nobody's already not done it, but why not start a group that helps out vets deal with the VA, right? Y'all have to keep the VA because if you educate me a little bit on this. What if just for an example, what if I was a vet, right? I had served, I come back, and I have all these medical issues. The VA's not helping. The wife, though, has great insurance. I can't use that insurance, or I lose my benefits, or what is... I don't know how short of an answer that is, but I'm curious. Like, I would definitely want to do that if I had the option. Went off the deep end and ended up in jail. I got out to go to treatment that was advocating for myself for 8 years. Nice. And you got a good story. You should tell people that. You should do stuff with that. People need to hear that. People need to know that they're not alone. And I know everybody's like, "Oh, you're not alone." But really connecting with somebody and having those kind of conversations with people, it's important. Texas agency transgender surgeries on children is child abuse. At the urging of Governor Greg Abbott, the Texas Commissioner of Child Protective Services declared sexual reassignment surgery is child abuse on Wednesday. Genital mutilation of children through reassignment surgery is child abuse, subject to all rules and procedures pertaining to child abuse. Texas Department of Family and Protective Services Commissioner Jamie Masters, whom Abbott appointed to the post in 2019, wrote in a letter to the Republican governor Wednesday. Masters warned that teachers, nurses, doctors, and daycare staff who are licensed by the state or work in state licensed or state-operated facilities can be charged with a Class A misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in jail if they find out the child has undergone gender-affirming surgery and do not report it to her agency. Okay, so if they report it to their agency, they get what? Because obviously if they go ahead with the procedure, they just broke the law. But if you find out and they didn't tell you that they did it, they go up to jail for up to a year. But if they tell you, hey, by the way, we did that, then what? That's what I want to know. The declaration means Masters Agency is obligated to investigate the parents of any child who has the procedure done, according to Abbott. The commissioner did, however, say the procedure may not constitute abuse if it's deemed medically necessary for a child who, for instance, is born with both male and female sex organs. Hermaphrodites. I thought they were a myth. I guess not. Abbott asked Masters to weigh in earlier this month after Republican state lawmakers filed a secure passage of the bill in 21 regular legislative session that aimed to prohibit transgendered youth from receiving cross-sex hormone therapy, puberty suppression drugs, and reassignment surgery by adding the treatments to the definition of child abuse under the state law. Let's see. Biden and Harris already said they want to shut the VA down. I didn't hear that one. I had to get 2 senators involved. 2 senators? Proper scans. I was drugged on a high Percocet, worse, and gave 20 samples without prescriptions from a VA doctor, which ended up getting the senator. I was drugged on a high Percocet and gave 20 samples without permission from a VA doctor, which ended up getting the senator involved. Let me drive home 2 hours. I blacked out, but ended up at my county veteran services office. He checked my state and called the senator. I handed over all the samples of the Percocet. Wow, there should really be a majority and a preference to vets work at the VA. I think there's a certain disconnect for people who have no military experience and no family in the service. I'm glad you got it though. My goodness, man. So nobody answered my question. Let me ask it again. If you have a spouse and you're a vet and they have good insurance, can you use their insurance instead of the vet? And if you do you then get rid of all your benefits from the vet or the VA? I meant the VA. Do you lose all your benefits? Do you not get your pension? Do you not get your monthly paycheck if you get one? I don't know how all this works, so please, I don't know. Anyway, let's continue. LGBTQ advocates say Abbott is pandering to his conservative base because sex reassignment surgery is rarely performed on minors. How about never? That'd be great. For one thing, it's expensive according to medical professionals. It costs $7,000 to $24,000 for male to female procedures and more than $50,000 for female to male procedures. You know what? If they make this more mainstream, I say we just make them all organ donors, right? And in order to be a boy, instead of costing you $50,000, we can lower that almost by half because we'll just keep all the penises that we whack off, put them on ice, and we'll just, like designer penis. Which penis would you like, my sir? It also performed after the person has received hormone therapy for at least a year, the doctor says. Ricardo Martinez, CEO of the LGBT, they have a CEO of the LGBTQ in Equality, Texas. It's a Texas. Why is everything Texas? Says medical professionals have worked up best practices advising a social transition that allows transgender children to express their identity without surgical intervention, huh? You want to play make believe? Fucking play make believe. So growing out or changing their hairstyle and wearing clothes they feel reflect their gender identity, he said in an interview. Abbott, yeah, I'm done with this one. My uncle Sherman, who served Army, said that he never saw anything in Nam that was worse than the shit he damaged brain came up with. Darfine alert. Darfine alert. Oh, by the way, we're having an after chat, or at least I'm going to attempt it today on Discord. So if you're interested, we're going to be cooking up a beautiful prime tomahawk steak. I've never had one. I've never made one. We're going to actually be grilling it. So we'll be outside hanging out. And if anybody jumps in, we'll continue it. And if nobody jumps in, then I'll probably only do it for a few minutes because I'm not going to just sit there on an open call with nobody there. But just so you know, probably half an hour after I'm done here, I'll start that up. That's what I'm thinking. California voters will be able to download ballots at home. The California Secretary of State office has made downloading mail ballots from home possible for the recall election of Governor Newsom. The state legislature also passed a measure to send out mail ballots to every registered voter, regardless if they asked one or not. The methods being employed by the state adds to the concerns already raised by a group that brought up potential Darfine issues during the 2020 event. Downloading mail ballots from home is made possible through technology used during the 2020 event. What would stop you from just Xerox copying that 100 times and mailing those all in? The system includes two options, one for the entire state and one for Los Angeles County. The statewide system is called Remote Accessible Vote by Mail, which enables voters to fill out ballots online, print them out themselves, and then either put it in the mail or drop off at a polling location. According to the Secretary of State's office, wait a minute, hold up. Two options, one for entire state, yada yada. Okay, which enables voters to fill out ballots online. Then you have to print them and either put them in a mail or drop off polling location, but you already entered it in online. If you've already done it online, shouldn't they have that information like immediately? According to the Secretary of State office, there were 4 certified whatever systems for the November 2020. 5 Cedar Group Alternative Former Ballot Version 5.1 Democracy Live Secure Select. I don't give a fuck. Even though this was created to be used by voters with disabilities, any voter could request to use it in 2020. The Los Angeles County option, the interactive sample ballots, yada yada, enables voters to fill out a sample ballot online, which generates a poll pass. The pass can be printed out, or voters can download a QR code and then vote using a ballot marking device at a polling location. Okay, maybe that explained it. County produced instructional videos explaining how to use it and ISB. It also sent voters a sample balloting, yada yada. Okay, let's get on to this. Riddle, are you all right back there? Hold on a second, guys. All right. Election Integrity Project California, a nonpartisan nonprofit organization advocating for the right of every eligible citizen to vote in California, purchased VoteCal voter registration and voting history files, and after auditing them, raised concerns about California's election system. The group published a list of questionable mail ballots sent out during the 2020 event to decrease Californians and those no longer living in California. It also learned that 13 California counties have more registered voters than eligible citizens. That's a problem. The group sent a letter to Secretary of State office last year raising concerns about the number of registered voters compared to the number of who voted in the event last year. It found that California had 1.8 million more registered voters than eligible citizens in the last election, and that nearly 124,000 more votes were counted in California's 2020 general than voters recorded as voting in the election. According to the EIPC evaluation, Los Angeles County has 206,000 registrants who have not voted or updated their registration since November of 2008, who are listed as active voters and could receive mail ballots in the mail. Epic says it's used says it uses precise methods that err on the side of caution and that its findings are likely underestimate the state's election problem. Boy, if Newsom wins, that's gonna be some shit. Man, all my Marine buddies are hardcore. Okay. Uncle Sherman, who served Army. Oh, yeah, I read that. I have insomnia, depression, hypersensitive, fear of large groups. Oh, that one. But that one, I know why I have fear of large groups. I don't know. I mean, I have theories why you might, but for me, I was always because I was really, really big. And when I would walk, I would wobble and I would bump people that I didn't mean to bump. So I needed a wide space. And going to a gun show when I was really heavy, oh, I hated it. It's the worst. Going to a gun show now, though, is not nearly as bad for me. But that's, because I knew what my fear was. Anger reactionary towards hostile males. Ooh. Riding passenger is my nightmare. Too many boons. Yeah, I don't like driving as passenger much anymore either. But I manage well. My family is an anchor rock in life, so it's found Medical treatment that calms my overactive sensitive mind. Do you smoke? A little bit of herb? Come to terms with the evil I've encountered. Now I'm happy. That's cool, man. I'm glad for you. You ever shy away from a fight? Kind of goes against being a grunt. Yep. I'm glad you're doing well. Happy, blessed, lucky I'm okay, but my brothers and sisters are dropping like flies, dying to the government healthcare. The way, yeah, I know. My dad, my dad was Army during Vietnam, and he- they didn't treat him very well at the VA. Let me tell you what. I think they could have done more too, but they didn't seem like they wanted to. But I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, so I really couldn't tell you. But I mean, how do you get a second opinion when you go to the VA? It's they must they must have still nobody answered that question. Y'all must be sworn to secrecy on how the VA works and why you can't use somebody else's insurance, because I mean, I get it if you're getting like a monthly income for being a vet, which I don't know if you are or not. But if you are, I mean, I can understand you not wanting to give that up if they're going to take that away. What exactly do they take away if you go use somebody else's health care? You know? If you're a rich son of a bitch like John McCain, you don't see John McCain going to the VA, right? He most likely has private, well, had Singer's dad, those so-called professional, yeah, yeah, I don't know. California arsonist was a radical anti-Trumper. His lack of empathy might activate a sense of the need of use of violence. Violent protests, of course, outright. Yeah, we were all wondering this. This was last summer, right? The former California professor accused of intentional professor. The former California professor accused of intentionally starting wildfires to trap firefighters battling the massive Dixie Fire was a radical anti-Trumper, according to American Greatness. Gary Menard, who previously taught at Santa Clara University and Sonoma State University, was arrested this week and charged with intentionally setting a series of fires near the ongoing Dixie Fire, where thousands of first responders were trying to get a control of a wildfire. He entered the evacuation zone and began setting fires behind the first responders fighting the Dixie Fire. Assistant U.S. Attorney Michael Anderson said in a statement, in addition to the danger of enlarging the Dixie Fire and threatening more lives and property, this increased the danger to the first responders. So he's going to save the environment by burning it down, and those who are trying to save it is with them. Last November, Menard went in on a wild rant about former President Trump, claiming Trump would likely become violent if he lost the election. Trump's lack of unwillingness to self-reflect in order to self-improve, and his lack of empathy while being threatened with his first major public political and personal defeat might activate a sense of need for the use of violence, violent protests, and by his supporters, or outright sabotage of the nation by locking down the economy or some other major act to damage the nation before he is forced to leave office, if he loses, Menard said at the time. Menard also compared Trump to Jim Jones, an insane cult leader who ordered the mass murder-suicide of 918 Jonestown commune members in 78. As recent as last fall, Menard was teaching in criminology and criminal justice department at Sonoma State University. Oh my God, criminology and criminal justice. This guy was teaching it. He couldn't even get away with it. Dude, you are forensic files for these people on the campus, and you can't even get that shit right and get away with it. He focused on the psychology of health, deviance, and crime. According to the school official bio forum, he was denied bail during a court appearance this week and will make his next appearance before a judge on August 24th. I hope he fucking fries. That would be great for me. How dare you just go out of your way to kill anybody? Especially somebody who's actually risking their life already to put that fucking thing out. You fight tooth and nail to get a scan once, twice. Hell, I paid a private healthcare provider to get evidence, the evidence, and filed a disability report. Then I had to do it all again in the VA and fight fight to get the right contrast on the CAT scans. And such the entire time when it was. Then it went to the board, which was 3 years behind at the time. I got a verdict and was low. That was low, and had to say I disagree with the verdict and present more evidence within a time frame and file again. I don't know. I don't know, man. If you got medical, like if you served and you're out and you got a little PSD, but not a horrible amount, I don't know. I'm sure there's different levels, and you're able to self medicate with marijuana or counseling. That's great. But I mean, if you got serious medical issues, brain trauma, fucking missing limbs, whatever, something that you have to go to the hospital on a regular basis to deal with, man, I'd be getting private health care. 100%. I would never even go to a VA after that. Why would you ever even walk into a VA? I mean, it's your life, right? We're all so worried about the sniffles that people are wearing masks and talking about getting the shots and getting more shots and all this stuff and social distancing, right? And we're going to go through all this for that. Why not, go through a little bit more to protect yourself? Info on other insurance, TRICARE. You can do it, but TRICARE pays second. Other insurance must be primary. What did I miss? I'm going to repeat the whole thing. All right, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the evening catch-up. My name is Stinger, and today we're going to start out with Amy Comey Barrett rejects Indiana University student bid to block a sniffle mandate. 8 years for the PTSD. That's why, yeah. I'm glad you got past it. A lot of people don't get it at all. Supreme Court Justice Amy Comey Barrett on Thursday refused to block a plan by Indiana's university to require students and employees to get the shot against the sniffles. Barrett's action came in response to an emergency request from 8 students, and it marked the first time the High Court has weighed in on a sniffle mandate. Hey, you know what? I might have to start thinking about it. I'm gonna do my whole show like at 5 o'clock my time, and then by the time it's 6, I'll be ready to go. Yeah, okay. So those are the stories. I am going to be doing an after chat on Discord. If you're not a member of my Discord, check it out. It's free. It's an app. It's on your phone. It's also on your computer. You can put it anywhere you have a device. So whatever you're watching me on now, you could have it on as well. There is a link down there. You might have to sign up an account. It is free. It takes a little bit of a finagle, but it's a lot of fun. And we're going to be cooking up a tomahawk prime steak. First time I've ever had a tomahawk. First time I ever cooked a tomahawk. When I opened it out of the packaging, it smelled like sulfur. And I don't know much about it. Riddle says that's normal. I don't know if I agree with it, that it should have smelled like sulfur. But yeah, so we're going to be doing that after this. Give me 25 minutes. So my time is 7:04 right now. So at 7:30 my time, I'm going to start up an after chat in Discord. If you're interested in that, check it out. If enough people show up, we'll hang out for as long as we're out there cooking. And if not, I'll probably turn it off within 20 minutes. I'm a burn pit Marine, but I'm healthy so far. Damn, did you get burned? I shouldn't have asked that. Should I ask that? Is that okay to ask? I don't even know. I had a private health care, but to file it with the VA, you need to send them medical files for future treatment. It was the smell of the bone marrow. Yeah, I hope so. The smells fine now. It's been airing out. We've been so last night is when I opened it out of the packaging. If you guys don't know this, here's a little. Some of y'all might know this. You want to dry brine your steak. Okay, if you're looking to make steak and you want it to be amazing, first of all, never get select, ever. Choice or prime, at least. Choice is not horribly expensive. Looking for that intermuscular fat. And then, so what I did was last night, I sprinkled salt all around the steak. Top, bottom, sides, all around. Black pepper, all around. And garlic powder, all around. Tied it up with some butcher's twine to hold it together during the cook. And it's been dry brining in my refrigerator in that salt, garlic powder, and black pepper for now for 24 hours. So it's going to have reduced. The flavors are going to have condensed. It's going to be delicious. I cannot wait. No breathing the burn pit smoke. Yeah, I try not to, but I'm gonna be it's gonna be on a grill. It's gonna be lump charcoal, and I think I got some hickory around here that we picked up that I said I was gonna use next time. And I also got to cook some chicken breast apparently because they're gonna go bad. Looking to troops exposure to burn pits, plastic human waste, hazardous materials buried in deep hole with diesel every day. Look into troops exposure to burn pits. Okay. I'm gonna go do that now. Smoke from military burn pits can have both short and long-term health effects on those exposed. Specifically, exposure can affect a person's lung health. Some immediate effects of burn pit exposure can include coughing, throat discomfort, or difficult breathing. What are y'all burning? Hazardous materials buried in a deep hole with diesel? Is that how we? Is that how the those bio containers that you see at a medical facility or whatever? They have the bio thing. Is that where y'all doing that? Like, just burn that extra uranium while you're at it. Gotta play the fuck game. At some point, I think you have to say "f you" to the VA and go to private. That's what I do. I don't know. One of y'all needs to explain that in detail. You have an opportunity on our after chat starting at about 22 minutes. So I got to get off of here. Check out all the links in the descriptions below, all the causes I believe in and support, all the ways to donate to the channel if you want to do it. If you want to help the channel out without donating money, the best way to do it is sharing this video with all your friends, liking and subscribing. I do appreciate that. Does help, right? But let's face it, we're not going to reach a higher audience by just leaving a whole bunch of likes on the video, right? The only way to achieve that, because then would be required to rely on YouTube's algorithm to, launch ourselves forward. YouTube has said, fuck you to Poison Stinger, and never look back to explain when I'm going to find out if I get monetized or not. All right. So who knows? Probably won't. So sharing is the best way to share. Now, if you do decide to donate money to this stream, just so you know, one of my favorite causes to believe in and support is Rally Point Irish. It's a GoFundMe page set up by Irish USMC vet, where he's going to be putting money towards a piece of land in Tennessee where vets can stay room and board free while learning new skills like farming, blacksmithing, and gunsmithing. I hope you have a great medical facility there. Anyway, I want to see that done, and I'm sure he does as well. Other than that, all the places to follow me. I have a Poison Stinger too. I am currently live on DLive. I have a Twitter, and of course my Discord, where once again, I want to be on that in about a few minutes to cook up that steak outside. I got a new light out there too, so it'll be well lit. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Thank you very much for joining me. I will see you again here tomorrow. Until then, make sure to keep that family close. Watch out for that government. Try to live as free as you can in the tyrannical world we find ourselves in. And Semper Fi. Good night.